Vekoma SLCs, a horror of a word in the coaster community. I mean, really, how on earth could you like them? They're rough and they're everywhere. They're just the definition of bad. Or are they? Yes, you heard me right. Here I am questioning the sacred tradition of coaster enthusiasts bashing SLCs. Are they really that bad? I say no.
What?
That's what he said.
What?
I know, that's what he said. Who wants to go first on this?
That is blasphemous. That is blasphemous.
Now that may sound blasphemous to most people watching this, but that's not the point of this video. Not for you to agree with me, so before you hit that dislike button, just understand this is more of an explanation video. I'm not trying to tell you that you have to love SLCs because they aren't for everyone. Everyone has their own opinions, but my opinion is that SLCs are enjoyable rides, so here are 5 reasons why. Number 5, the layout. I don't think that's too controversial to say that SLCs at least have good layouts with unique elements. On the standard model, which by the way is the model that we'll be talking about here, you start by going down a curved drop before going into a rollover inversion, which you can find on very few non-Vekoma coasters. At this point, it's already set itself apart from those B&M inverts, which by the way are better. I'm not trying to say that Vekoma makes the best inverts, I'm just saying that they aren't that bad. Then you go into a turn of sorts that actually gives some pretty good lateral forces. Then you have a sidewinder, nothing special, but it's actually pretty whippy, a theme for these coasters. Now you might have noticed at this point that looks pretty shaky, and you would know that if you've been on one of these that they are shaky. I'm not denying that. They would be so much better if they weren't shaky. One of the reasons why I'm looking forward to seeing more of the Vekoma STC model, which is their new gen SLC if you didn't know. The SLC shakiness does get annoying and is the reason why I rank them below almost all B&M inverts, but I don't think that makes the ride awful. Back to the ride, you go through a double inline twist, another whippy element that you can find on few other coasters, before going into some turns and into the brakes. Overall, I do think that SLCs have the layout to match almost any B&M invert, but it's just the roughness that brings it down. Number 4, the pacing. Standard SLCs travel 49.7 miles per hour, which really isn't very fast for an extreme thrill ride, but somehow it manages to get through a 5 inversion layout in just 39 seconds of prime ride time. This comes down to the fact that the speed is really never lost until the end. Vekoma actually did a great job in designing the layout, and they clearly knew what they were doing, unlike those Chinese knockoff manufacturers. I mean, you can't tell me that they wanted it to go this slow. It's just unfortunate that the same expertise of Vekoma wasn't put into that track design sooner. The insane pacing is also what leads to whippy elements like the double inline twist. Number 3, the head choppers. This part of the ride I'm not sure if it was on purpose, but the head choppers are strong with this one. It's actually kind of insane how close you get to the sports, and that really took me by surprise on my first ride. That's also a big reason why I much prefer the front row, and the fact that I find it to be smoother up there. Some of the noticeable moments are the supports when you're going through the rollover. That moment when it looks like you're going to crash into both a support and the double inline twist, but then you curve around both, and probably most notably the track that goes under the inline twist when you're going through the element. Overall, the support structure is just so strange that it looks like you'll crash into something the whole ride. Number 2, the restraints. Yes, you heard me right. One of the reasons that I like SLCs is because of those restraints. I understand that they're quite close to your ears, but I really don't mind it because if they were further away, your head would pick up more speed before bashing into the restraints. When they're so close, the impact is minimized. Also, I find these restraints to be quite soft. This is a reason why I don't hate SLCs because, at least for me, none of the headbanging hurts. It's really not painful bashing your head into a pillow. Another reason that people sometimes dislike SLCs is because it rattles you to death and hurts your back. The way that I get around this is I stable myself, because then I'm not moving around destroying my back. It also allows me to keep my head further forward. Trust me, just try it. Number 1, the impact that they've had on the industry. No matter whether you like them or not, you cannot deny how good they've been for the amusement industry. First of all, they really helped to grow Vekoma as a company, eventually leading to the Vekoma that we know today. Also, there's so many parks that got their start with an SLC. Parks that may have been small, but they were able to get a cheap, thrilling inverted coaster, leading them to be able to expand further later on. Six Flags America, Wallaby Holland, Discovery Kingdom, and Kentucky Kingdom are just a few examples. Because of their cheap cost, so many smaller parks are able to afford one, spreading the good word of coasters to so many people. I would be willing to bet that there are quite a few coaster enthusiasts that grew up on parks where the SLC was the main attraction. In the end, they aren't the best inverted coasters, not even close, but I think that SLCs are very underrated, enjoyable rides. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.